I feel like there's a part of your brain that lights up whenever it recognizes music. At some point, a sound stops being just a sound and turns into something else. Though what happens when a composer walks the line of that trigger? The music of Animal Well explores this boundary of musicality in a way that a lot of other games don't. The very way this game presents sound to the player is unique and unconventional, often blurring the line between traditional musical tracks and ambient soundscapes. Like its secret eggs, there is music hidden in every corner of Animal Well, and you'll need to listen close to find it. Let's start off listening to the more traditional musical tracks, of which there are only a handful. Some of these pieces are so subtle that sometimes you don't realize they're playing in the background. Take the theme that plays when the kangaroo is chasing you. The repetitive deep bass synth blends in with the kangaroo's hopping sound effects, masking the music. Most of the other tracks are equally basic, consisting of repeated patterns of notes with just the barest sense of a melody. But one of the most complex musical pieces in the game is actually the title screen. Oh, this theme is so perfect. It's restrained yet dramatic, brooding and ominous, somehow gooey and organic. This guy commenting on the soundtrack said it better than I could. The art of title screens is not dead indeed. Well said, Goretrans X. We can do a little harmonic analysis on this theme, but things get weird pretty fast. The notes played on the synth here outline an A minor 7th chord for the first 4 measures, and a D minor chord in the next 4. This simple descending bass often plays notes not in the chord, which creates some very unique sounding harmonies. The way this pattern repeats without adjusting for the harmony, and the bass descending one half step at a time, feels almost relentless. Also, I've hidden it for simplicity, but these intervals are staggered slightly, with these grace notes conveying the sound of something almost fluid and dripping. Notice also how the 11-note pattern doesn't quite fit into a multiple of our 4-beat measure. These rhythmic anomalies lend to the organic, oozing quality of this track, and set the tone of the game. The world of Animal Well and its ghostly inhabitants seem natural, but also don't quite fit our preconceived notions of how we'd expect them to behave. Random thought, but the title screen music for Animal Well reminds me of Yume Nikki's title screen in a way. This piece is even simpler, just a 6-note phrase that endlessly repeats. It's easy to get lost in this piece due to it being amelodic, lacking a definite sense of melody. Put another way, if music was a compass, this piece doesn't seem to point in any particular direction, or perhaps it points in all directions. Animal Well's title screen, I'd argue, is also amelodic, though it's a subjective idea for sure. Now don't worry, I won't spoil the name of this track or where you hear it, but on the topic of similarities to other games, take a listen to the first few bars of this secret track from Animal Well. Now I'll be damned if that's not a reference to the Mother 1 title theme. But let's come back to the topic I brought up at the start of the video. The music of Animal Well is mostly hidden, and it's usually right beneath your nose. Get it? Because it's a flute? But seriously, so little of Animal Well's music comes from actual tracks. Most of it comes from the environment, and that includes you, the player. For example, there are these mice heads, which play a random note when they bounce off a surface or off of each other. In some rooms, you can mess around with the timing of these guys and create some fun rhythms. There are the water fountain puzzles too, which are a joy to tinker with. A more more subtle musical interaction is on your inventory menu. When you move the cursor up, left, down, or right, it plays notes in an ascending major 7th chord. And when you shatter spikes, they play a chord at a random pitch as well. Though many sounds made by the environment are pleasing, some can be more discordant and aggressive. The repeated notes made by the ghost chasers and the horrible sound they make when they die from the fireworks, for example. Oh my god, and there's the bat too. This thing emerges from the shadows, and before you have a chance to even process what you're looking at, you hear this. God, it's like Satan himself yelling into your headphones. It's such a unique sound too. You only hear it at this one part of the game. Animal Well's soundtrack may be minimalistic, but that doesn't imply mediocrity. On the contrary, the handful of eccentric pieces and the procedurally generated soundscapes are what makes this game's sound design stand out. Just like its world, the music is organic and strange, eerie yet beautiful, and always filled with surprises. Let me hear your thoughts on the game's sound design and what music you were able to find hidden in the world. I know I've left out a lot of examples. I've had so much fun with this game, and it was a joy discovering everything it has to offer. Until next time, see you later.